Seems like every project you work on needs special tools, and I think I've probably got two toolboxes full of special tools that I've made myself, because special tools can be really expensive. And not only that, you're working on something and suddenly you need that socket to put your four-wheel drive hub on or whatever. Well, it's much quicker to just build one than it is to order one online and wait for it, or drive downtown somewhere and try and find one. And some of those things are actually quite hard to find. So putting the hood springs on this 49 Chev, 49 to 54, they're notorious for being dangerous because when they're loaded or stretched, if you don't have some kind of a good tool to hold them securely as you install them, they can come apart and, poof, yeah, not good, a missile. So I wanted to make some kind of a tool, and I've seen different ones online, right? There's the rod, the 14-inch long rod with the hole in the end and the V in the other end, and somehow opening and closing the hood in sequence. I don't know. Anyway, seems awkward. Then there's the box that kind of goes on the outside, and then there's other ones that go on the outside and try and pull them apart. But I thought if you run something down the middle, it will not have to be that big. It doesn't have to be that overkill. It doesn't have to be that strong, because it's just straight on impact, strength, tensile strength. So basically what I did is a 3/8 piece of ready rod or all thread, depending on whether you have a prime minister or president, and some tube that the ready rod will go into. Now, it just so happens that the shifter tube, the 3-on-the-tree shifter tube of one of our Chevs, is the right size. It's a really nice, strong tube. I've used the whole length of it making special tools already, because I'm not using one. But if you got an extra spare one around or whatever, that's a good kind of rod. And then a piece of 1/2-inch solid here, 2 pieces here. The trick is that this bottom piece has to swivel so that when this is inside the spring, and you use hopefully an impact wrench or some gun or something to crank this up and stretch the spring, that the rod can turn, but this bottom piece can't turn, right? So that's why it has to swivel down there. And then the other part of it is the swivel also has to be held so that you can jerk this out, right? Pull it out when you've got the spring installed. Otherwise, you'd end up with this little piece stuck down there. So that was about the trickiest part of all, right? And then this piece, another piece of tubing with 2 nuts and the ends welded and a little hook, and just 2 nuts, against each other here to turn the rod. And that's it. Now, this you got to watch. I'll put it this way so we're talking about the right direction. Shape this bottom piece so that it stays on its side of the spring loop, so that you can actually connect the bottom mount on there. It'll actually slide into that groove, and then you can pull this out, right? And it'll click into place. Actually, I just rounded my spring just a little bit too, just to make it easier. The challenging part of my car is that the bottom mount is missing. Now, I guess it was there when I cut the car apart. But that part is kind of right where the 49 Chev and the Cadillac merged together. So I've kind of had to design a new mount down there and figure out where it goes. And I've kind of don't know exactly how far the stretch is, but you get clues. Look at different pictures on the internet. Cars, guys are building with the fenders off. You go, oh, there's the mount there. And so I think I've got it in the right place. I mean, we'll know when we put it all together and the springs actually hold the hood open. I think that's what they're supposed to do. I've never seen one in real life. So part of my challenge was to find the place to mount the spring at the bottom and yet have clearance through all of my shenanigans with the piecing together the parts that join the 49 to the Cadillac. But I got it, and it's looking really good. And look at this. Up and down. And I can take these springs off and on quite easily. Now, I think once the fenders are on, again, that's always a challenge, right? If the fenders are off, it's not a problem. You can do the washer method and all that kind of stuff real easily. But when you've got fenders on, which, I don't know. I think probably when I assemble this car, the hood will go on before the fenders because they'll all be painted, and it's, yeah, you know, that's going to be the fun part. Hey, we'll talk about that another day, another year. So yeah, this is the tool, the special tool, works really well. You know, costs a couple bucks to build or whatever, just a scrap that's around, and very safe, secure, not too clumsy. Yeah, and I feel good using it.